All right, everybody. So we're back. It's Rampage of 78 Designs. I got a big guest with us today, Douglas Tait. Do you like to go by Doug or Douglas?
Douglas is the professional, but the friend name is Doug.
Okay, we'll stick with Douglas.
Yes.
We'll dive right into it. I can't thank you enough. You're like one of my idols. I'm trying to not mark out here, as they say in wrestling.
All good, dude.
I really appreciate you doing this for us. And, it's not just for me, it's for the whole Michael Myers, Jason community, everybody, So
Absolutely.
you've always been,
Absolutely.
I think what separates you the most from like most of the other actors, too, in the Halloween universe is like you're actually a really big fan of Michael Myers.
Huge. Huge since I was a kid. No, I was just saying like I started watching it when I was a kid. Halloween 2 was the first one, so I've been a huge fan ever since.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads me into the first question is like, so was it Halloween or was it another horror movie? Like, what age did you get into horror?
So this is I've told this before. It's kind of a funny story. My parents, this is dating me, but it is what it is. In the '80s, bought our first VCR, and that's where you actually play cassette tapes, folks. For those of you who don't know, so I had a VH inside. It was apparently returned. This VCR was returned, and inside when we bought it was a VHS tape of Halloween 2. And I was 9 years old and I said, "Oh shoot, Halloween. I love Halloween, the holiday, right?" I had no idea about the movie. I didn't know what it was. I just thought, "Oh, it's a movie about Halloween." I watched it, saw Michael Myers for the first time, saw Dr. Loomis for the first time, and I was just completely blown away by it. I watched it over and over. I was
There you go.
obsessed with it in a very, normal way as a
Of
kid, not
course, yeah.
crazy way. Uh, and I've been a fan ever since. So it literally was my first one. So when I got the opportunity to actually be behind the mask, it was so special to me.
My gosh, I'm going to get to that. Do you remember what age that was, or you might have said it? I might have.
Yeah, I was around 9 years old, I'd
Oh
say.
man,
You know, it's
yeah.
third grade. So
I
whatever third grade is. What is third grade? Maybe it was younger than that. I don't know.
don't know. I think third
Yeah,
grade is
that
like
was around the time.
seven, right? Something like that. 7 years old, maybe. No,
That's
it's
something.
got to be a little more
Maybe
than that.
seven, maybe eight, seven, eight,
All I know is
eight or nine.
I
Eight or
was I was five in kindergarten. That's all I know.
okay.
um,
Yeah, so that started my whole horror you know, journey, I guess you could say, because that was the first horror, and then became a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street was another big one for me. So yes, I'm a fan to answer your question, 100%.
so obviously after that you got introduced to horror and stuff like that. Aside from Halloween, I guess we could talk. I love 80s horror movies, so I was wondering
Yeah.
like what your favorite 80s horror movie was, like kind of I guess besides Halloween, because
Well, it was Halloween was number one, then I'd say Nightmare on Elm Street was second. Was terrified by Exorcist. That's another one.
yeah, that was
And
scary.
very scary because I grew up in Catholic school, so there was almost like it felt real. Like
Yeah,
eh, priests were really doing those whatever you call it. What is it? What is it called? Priests
Exorcist.
were trying to exorcisms. Yes,
Okay,
the movie title. They were
right.
doing exorcisms. That was the thing. So you're like, oh my God, this is real. So yeah, I mean, and then there was like one called Faces of Death, which if some people know, some people don't. That was a creepy one to watch. Yeah, the Nightmare on Elm Street though, like even more than Jason, was a big one for me.
Right. Yeah, I feel like the first one of all of these films is just so creepy. It's like sort of the Godfather syndrome where it's like kind of rare you get a sequel that like tops. But I guess Halloween 281 it could rival for a lot of people the original. But
Getting to meet Dick Warlock, who played him in Halloween 2, like now that I do conventions, that's pretty amazing because he's actually the one where I really picked up the movements from because you see him walking and moving a lot more in 2 than you do in 1. So yeah, that was a special one.
is he your favorite Myers other than yourself?
Uh, I think he was my favorite Myers, but I think James Ju Courtney, like I've become like a fan of his because I think he took it up a notch. I mean, he really, got the movements down from like people like Dick and Nick, but then made it his own and it's more brutal. So it moves a little faster, but yet kept the essence of him. So him and Dick definitely my favorites.
We're gonna get a little deeper into that. I just
Yeah,
I'll save the Halloween questions
for
for a
sure.
second here.
For sure.
I mean, it seems like every project that you do seems to like top the last, and to be such a hard worker as an actor, a stuntman, is there ever like, do you get to take in the moments on set, or is there a movie where you're like, I really wish I took a second and took that in?
I think that I do take it in, because I realize how privileged it is. I don't know about privilege, but how amazing it is to get the opportunity to be a part of such classic things. So like
Yeah.
for instance, Freddy vs. Jason was my first big film. I started in high school pursuing acting and working at Universal Studios,
Hmm.
playing characters like Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Phantom. Um, and I worked in Universal for 10 years until I got this movie. And once I got this movie, I left. So it was kind of that thing where I had an opportunity to be a part of something big, which started to lead to other things. So it's very special to me. And getting to work with Robert England, who I grew up, like I said, loving that
Yeah.
franchise and talking to him and him telling me
Oh,
that it took 10 years for this to get made. And, like if it was 10 years before, if it got made right away, I wouldn't have been there. So the timing of everything, the where I shot my scene in the lake was a place that I used to fish with my grandfather as
whoa.
a kid who had passed away,
Oh
you
man.
know, less than a year before I got the role. I mean, there's a lot of surreal things
Whew.
about that too.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
incredible.
yeah. So, and this right here is from the mold of the mask I wore in Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh man.
So I use this in my photo ops when I do
Yeah,
the photo ops at cons and stuff.
that's
But
absolutely incredible.
it's
I
pretty
always love the
cool.
scratches on it too, the Freddy claws through it.
Yeah, I love that. It's like got the cracks and stuff. It's just it's
I got a
different.
fascination with like rotted and damaged masks, and
Me
you know,
too.
I'll probably cut this out because I don't want to toot my own horn here with you, but just real quick, this was the mask I sculpted for our
Oh,
Halloween fan
nice.
movie.
That's
Um,
great. That's awesome.
yeah, and I appreciate that. That means the world coming from you, man.
Well, I didn't know you sculpted. That's cool.
Oh yeah. I've been a sculptor mask maker for I don't know, a long time, I guess.
Oh
It's
shoot, I didn't even realize that. Or maybe I saw it and I just didn't put it together. I don't know.
I um
Yeah.
I want to send you something because I have like mini Halloween kills. I gave Christopher Nelson a mini Halloween ends mask when I got to meet him.
Nice.
So yeah. All right.
The man.
Enough
Yeah.
about me. Chris is amazing. He was such a sweetheart to meet. I
Dude, he's
actually
awesome.
I missed the photo op with him, and he was nice enough to. I was missed it by like 5 minutes, and he was nice enough to let me, stand with him, take a picture with the ends mask and stuff like that. So he's very
That's
cool.
great. Yeah, he's awesome. Dude, good dude.
You know what kind of blew my mind? And I swear to gosh, I'm not tooting your horn or whatever here.
Huh.
I my favorite commercials growing up was the messing with Sasquatch stuff.
Oh man.
Are you the original Sasquatch?
No, I started 10 years ago.
That's
So
that's probably
I've
right
been
around the yeah.
I've been playing this guy for 10 years. So I've done a lot of different spots. I mean, so many. But I wasn't the original. Um, yeah.
I'm laughing just thinking about it. There's such funny commercials, dude. Um,
Yeah.
I think my favorite is when he farts in the fire. I don't know if that one was
No, that one was not me, but that was hilarious. I mean, honestly, like this company was a small company, right? They were just a guy with a vision. Um, and he decided, or actually the ad agency said, "Hey, let's do a funny thing with a Sasquatch." And what they did is they went to the biggest shop around, Stan Winston Studios. You got to know who they are, right? You know, we're talking Terminator, Predator, and they did it right. They didn't do it cheesy, and the thing went viral. I mean, before viral was a thing, and now they're the number one beef jerky in the US and Canada.
okay.
So it's pretty cool that Sasquatch has been, you know, a part of this brand and will always be part of it, they tell me. I have new ones coming out next month and it's with a Yeti, like an
Oh,
Obama moment. First time they've done another character. So I'm super excited. It was really funny. They're going to be real funny.
are you the Yeti or is it like or is you get are you as Sasquatch? Are you guys gonna collide there?
No, I'm always Sasquatch, and we're
Yeah.
together in it, so I couldn't play both. But it's actually I got my good friend in it. He's who's a talented guy in makeup and stuff. His name is Kurt
Awesome.
Carley. He's playing the Yeti, so we're friends. So we work so well together. So it's going to be different. They're different than anything we've done. You've never seen another character, so it's going to be interesting. So go guys, look for the new commercials next
Yeah.
month in April.
I just wanted to make sure that the Sasquatch wasn't being replaced with the Yeti as you, because the Sasquatch is just classic.
No, I said that when they first pitched it to me. I was like, "Oh, as long as he's not," and they're like, "No, no, no, he'll never replace Sasquatch."
Yes.
Yeah,
All right. So this isn't trivia or anything. It's not like anything like that. But I was wondering if you want to do a mini game real quick, basically where I'll mention some things you've been in, and you could either share a quick story or mention like one word, for it. Does that sound good?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
All right. So Annabelle Comes Home 2, I believe.
It is. I think that there's only one Annabelle Comes Home, so I guess it was the second of the franchise. Yeah, because there was Annabelle, Annabelle Comes Home, and then Annabelle Creations, I think. Story on that. So I had I auditioned for Swamp Thing, and it was between me and one other guy. Went to the finals, and I didn't get it. And the producer said, "Man, it could have gone either way. You both were right there, but we're going to work together. We are going to work together." This is James Wan's Atomic Monster Company. So literally 6 months later after that, they call me for Annabelle Comes Home. Originally, there was a puppet in the scene, and James Wan said, "I want to see a guy in a suit." So they refitted and made a suit and refitted the puppet head to fit me,
Wow.
and I ended up doing the werewolf on a reshoot for Annabelle Comes Home.
That's fantastic. The costume work, it's some of the costumes you've been in and the makeup is just unreal. It's you're such a nice guy
Top
under all
notch,
of it
man.
all, but it's
No,
it's
I mean these are like the top shops in Hollywood that I've worked with, like the top. Like that's Fractured Effects that did that. They're amazing. They've done such good work. They do all James Wan's films and so many great things they've done. I worked with them on Rebel Moon a couple years ago for Netflix's
oh, okay.
Zack Snyder thing. They're amazing. Amazing.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Star Trek.
Star Trek. So I have some crazy things with Star Trek. I was in an episode when I was 18 years old of Deep Space Nine, where I played
Wow.
this colonist trapped in this time warp. And I worked on that for several weeks. It was awesome. And then come 2009, I'm in the reboot for the Star Trek with J.J. Abrams directing
Dang.
as this long face alien. My buddy Barney Berman did the makeup and won the Academy Award and then used my character as promotion. So I got to not only work with J.J. Abrams, hang out with him, awesome guy. My buddy wins. I had just met him at that time, so he became my buddy.
Right.
He wins the Academy Award. He's showing my character on all his promotion, so I'm getting press off that, which was awesome. Then several years later, 10, I'm in Star Trek Picard, and I was going to be a regular character in that. But they were shooting in LA and they went over budget. So they took all of us that were going to be the regulars and then they just used extras after the first two episodes. So I've been a part of three Star Treks, which is cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, I remember the when I was a kid, the pale face guy. And when people, do you know who I'm talking about with like the dark eyes and the red kind of slick back hair?
Yes, yes, of course. What's his name? The one that's kind of like robotic. He
Yeah.
talk. Yeah, he's very, yeah,
And
yeah. I forget his name.
real quick, I thought when everyone said the Michael Myers mask is from Star Trek, I'm like, oh, it must be that guy. Yeah.
No, oh yeah, because he was pale. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, that's got to be him. Okay, so Freddy versus Jason. I think we touched.
Uh,
I mean,
yeah,
if you got anything that
yeah.
pops up, if not, we can move on to the next one.
I think that, like I said, first film left Universal after 10 years. You know, I did the ending scene of that movie. I didn't do the whole movie.
Yep.
Ken Kersinger played him, and then I did the ending. But quick story on that is I auditioned for it, got a call back, auditioned again, and they pinned me, which means they were checking my dates. They were interested in using me for the whole film. Ken Kersinger, I find out I didn't get it, right? 6 months later, they call me to do reshoots. I do the reshoots in LA. They shot the movie in Canada, and I film my stuff. And then 10 years later, I do a Freddy vs. Jason reunion with Ken Kersinger. And I told him, and he's like, yeah, I went in as the stunt coordinator, met with Ronnie Yu. We hit it off, and he offered me the role. I heard they were looking at somebody. The guy's 6'5", big dude. And I say this, if there was a short stunt coordinator, I would have probably been Jason in the whole movie. So
Oh,
damn you, Ken, for being a big dude.
yeah, he's massive, right?
Yeah, he's a big dude for sure.
Real quick before what can I ask? What's like an audition like for a character like Jason?
I'll tell you. So basically, Ken had played the character. Kane Hodder had played the character for previous films, right? Um, so Kane was supposedly told he was going to play the character. Then when Ronnie Yu got hired, he wanted somebody taller. His requirements, he said, I want somebody taller and I want somebody that can emote through the eyes. I mean, you can't really see in the mask, but this is what he said.
Yeah.
So in the audition, we had to do the physical, which I was good with because I knew the character and I'm doing stuff in Universal, so I know I nailed that. And then they did a close up where they wanted to see emotion. They wanted to see emote in just the eyes without any kind of movements or anything. Sadness, anger, some fear. And then I did that. I felt good about it, and that's kind of the audition, basically.
Interesting. Yeah, because you always hear
Yeah,
about people auditioning for like Michael Myers, stuff like that, but I don't think I've ever. I think Chris Duran told me a little bit about it, Michael Myers from Halloween H2O, but other than that, yeah,
yeah,
I'd never asked. I've never got that bit of info, so that's interesting. That's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and then you described what it was like working with England. That kind of would have been the next question, what it was like working with
yeah.
Robert England.
Amazing. It was amazing. Yeah. I mean, like, he told me that this took 10 years to get made. So the fact that, you know, that happen is it was the timing was perfect, because if it was 10 years earlier, I would have been in grade school, and would have never done it. So it just worked out the way it was supposed to work out, I guess. And I got to hang out with him, talk to him. He's a legend, great guy, super fired up. He told me on set, I remember, that he said, "This is my last time playing this character. This is it. I won't do this again."
Wow.
And, the reboot was somebody else. He did do an episode of the Goldbergs, but it's not a movie, so it's not as intense.
Yeah.
And I get asked every single show by dozens of people, "Oh, is Robert going to come back? Is there going to be another one?" And I always tell him, no, I don't think he's going to come back. I mean, it's already 22 years. He told me he wasn't going to do it back then. So it's very difficult to be in makeup and be
Yeah.
physical like that. It's not an easy task. And when you're in your 70s,
Oh,
it's not,
hours in the makeup chair, stuff like that.
yeah, not the easiest thing to do.
I'm still hopeful though that maybe one day we'll get a new Nightmare on Elm Street and he'll be in it some way or another.
The only way that he could do it is if I'd say is he does the close-ups, the voice, and then there's a double the whole time. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
only way it can be done.
I remember at one time, I don't know how true it is. I heard about he wanted to voice for an animated series. I obviously don't think it got too far, but I read that on one of the sites. But even if it's not true, I was thinking how cool that would be if he voiced like an animated Freddy Krueger movie.
That would be doable, but I don't know. I hadn't heard that. I hear a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's been out there about, oh, it was going to be Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. I don't know if that's was ever actually even in the works, but I've heard stuff like that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. That's man, I'm learning a lot today. So,
Yeah.
you want to get into some Halloween stuff, and then we can probably close out after that.
Sure, we can get into some Halloween.
Oh
Definitely.
man, yeah, it's got its own section here. So
Yes.
um, so I'm also a big fan of James Jude Courtney, and regardless of what I think of maybe how the film wrapped or some of our reviews or something, which I try to make sure to always give kudos, even if if any film wasn't my favorite, I always try to give the kudos. But
Yeah.
man, he was incredible, and
Yeah,
I
it
know
was.
that he said he would never put the mask on again, or I think he said he wouldn't do another Halloween unless it was somehow with Blumhouse. Is that the same for you?
Oh no. No, I'm ready to go, man. I know those guys, Ryan Freeman and Malik, and I hope that they give me a shot to play him in the whole movie, because they all know me over there. And
Yeah,
this is the story that I've told, and I don't know if you know it, but it's worthy of mentioning on here.
of course.
In 2015, I went in. Sean Clark brought me in for an audition for a movie called Halloween Returns, and Michael Myers is on death row
Yes.
on Halloween night. He's getting electrocuted, and he
Yes.
breaks out of the electric chair and goes on a killing spree. I did it in the audition.
Whoa.
Malik Akkad said, "You're my guy," and then the film just got canned for whatever reason. They had a falling out with Dimension. I don't know any details. I wasn't a part of that, but I just knew that they weren't going to do it. So I thought, well, man, that's it. It was really a downer, because this was one of the ones I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
So Sean calls me like 4 years later, and I'm in Bulgaria shooting Hellboy, this character, thru,
Damn.
right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, they want to see you." And this is 2018 one. They want to see you. They want an older guy because it's 30 years later, but they still would like to see you. And I'm like, "Dude, I'm in freaking Bulgaria, man." He's like, "Well, get on a plane and get out." I said, "I can't. They won't let me leave." So that went, not that I would have gotten it, because James, was perfect. And then Halloween Kills is coming around, and Chris Nelson puts my name in for the flashback Myers.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so I auditioned for the flashback Myers, and the person doing the hiring was Aaron Armstrong, the stunt coordinator. So he ended up doing that, and then since he knew I knew the character, he called me to double James. So
I think you work
that's how
wonderful
all that went down.
as a James Jude Courtney stunt double. I had no idea, and then when I read the whatever credits, or maybe I even watched them, I was like clapping because seeing your name, man. Because I was honestly so happy for you, dude. Because I've been following you as Michael before Kills because of Halloween Returns. I was like,
Oh,
that was my movie.
oh shoot.
I wanted that movie to be
Okay.
made so bad. I've read the script a million times as if it's an actual movie. Um, and
Wow.
that was
Okay.
going to be my Halloween. And when it got canned, I was so upset,
Wow.
man. And yeah, I was gonna say, I heard there's a Halloween TV series coming out, and I hope to God that you throw your name in the hat for that.
Yeah, I heard about that. It's been talked about for a while. I know they were working on a video game and things like that, so I don't know. Like I said, I know those guys, we're in touch, me and Ryan Freeman.
Yep.
I would love to jump on. I know the character. You know I love the character. I didn't
My
realize you
goodness.
you knew about that. A lot of people don't know about that,
Oh
so
yeah.
that's so cool that you've read the script. It is online if you would like to, anyone would want to read it. It is
So
online.
good.
You could find it.
So good.
Marcus Dunstan was going to direct. Thought it was a really cool idea. And yeah, I mean, just these things happen, and these things happen when things don't make it, and it's unfortunate. But I think that would have been a really cool film. But that being said, I still feel like I'm ready to go if I get the call, because
Yeah.
I love the character, as you know. I post videos and skits and things, so
You got quite the collection too, right? Of masks.
I do have a nice mask collection. Yeah,
I'm
I've
gonna
been
add to
sent a
it.
lot. Yeah, I've been sent a lot, and I'm a fan of it, so I'm all loving it. I think it's great. I love artists, sending me different versions, and it's really cool. I show them off and stuff like that.
I'm gonna have to send you a mask for sure, dude. I can't
Oh
imagine
yeah,
you
dude.
those cool videos you do opening the box and putting it on. If those are one of mine, I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean it's cool because people get sales off it, so that's the point. People actually buy when they see me do that. Oh, I want that mask, so that's neat to if I can get them some business.
Oh, it's really nice
It's
of you.
cool.
My whole point of this
Yeah.
whole Halloween thing is to I know I can't do it by myself, but people will see, hey, people are still talking about Michael Myers. They still want to see you guys, and hopefully by another anniversary they'll say, all right, Michael Myers is still hot, so let's get on it. That's what I'm trying to do with my channel mainly, is like reinvigorate Michael Myers. I make the films, which is whatever, but even these videos and interviewing you guys, I wanted you to be the first like kind of Halloween person that I got to talk to, and I just can't thank you enough for being that guy for me. I mean, that's so nice of you.
Yeah. I
All
mean,
right,
I
so we,
appreciate people like you because you're spreading the word of the franchise, like you're keeping it
yeah.
alive. So like that's what it's all about, man. And that's why I love conventions, meeting the fans who just dress up of it and cosplay. I mean, all over TikTok and stuff. I think it's awesome.
Oh, it's such an amazing, it's a great family, and everyone always, so when I was on the fire department, everyone thought I was like a psycho, and I'm like, you have no idea, these are the nicest people you'll ever meet. And when I go back to the fire
It's
department,
true.
I'm sure it'll be the same thing. But then they watch
It's
some
so
of the,
true, man. So
yeah,
true.
they look at my masks and stuff, and they're like, dude, actually you made that? All right, that's pretty cool. Like they
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, I've
Uh,
heard that. I've heard people say that, oh, they must be crazy. It's like, no, they're the coolest ever. They're just fans of the franchise, you
Such
know?
sweet people. Yeah, I can't
Exactly.
I can't imagine. I can't remember the last person I met that wasn't so nice. And I don't get into it anyways because it's like,
Yeah.
You never know. You honestly, you never know what kind of day someone's having. It's like they could be the nicest person in the world and have a bad day. So I
Or
just,
they could be going through something in life. You know, it
yeah.
happens. It happens.
I think Michael Myers has incarnations. And if you don't understand this question, it's fine. It's probably a little confusing, but it's something I really wanted to know of you.
Huh.
Over the years, so it's like we've had the original Michaels. We had George Wilbur from 4 and 6 that interjected in his own essence to the character. We had
Yeah.
Then I See Rob Zombie, which was like sort of a big brute, and then you get people describe him as Leatherface and stuff. I don't like doing that because I think Michael's his own thing. But
Yeah.
then you have Blumhouse Halloween with James Jude Courtney. If we got Halloween Returns, what would a Douglas Tait Michael Myers look like? Like,
You know,
what are some of the things you would interject into there that maybe we haven't seen?
I mean, I think that, it's hard to say exactly what it would be, but I was a big Dick Warlock, like I was saying. So a lot of this stuff was based off his movements. But of course, you as a person are different. The way you move, even if you stick to the essence of the movements. So a lot of that is dictated through the script. A lot of the of moments that happen in the script, everything in the body and everything goes in the moment of what's happening when you're playing a character. So it's hard to say exactly, but I think that I would have given my portrayal of it. But to say what that would be, it's hard to know because I know what I do happens organically because I know the character and I know the movements. Like Sasquatch, I don't think. It just
Yeah.
things happen. I know the movements and I go with it. And things happen organically in the moment, knowing the character so well. And I think that would have been amazing to start in death row on an electric
Ooh.
chair and just go on a rampage, dude.
Oh my
I
goodness.
mean,
I hate
that
to
would have
keep
been.
I hate to keep going on Returns too because man, I wanted to see that movie so bad.
I know. It's trust me. Trust me. I wish. Damn
um
it. Okay. You know about my new film that I'm going to be a part of?
I was gonna ask you about that, and I was gonna say that for the last and see if there was anything that you could tell us about that.
Uh, do you, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know that we spoke and you said you had something big coming, but I didn't
Oh,
pry.
yes. Okay, so I just wrapped Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and that's Blumhouse's biggest grossing movie of all time.
Oh
Five
my
Nights at Freddy's.
God. Yeah, I didn't know that. So,
So I'm playing a character in that. Oh yeah, I did tell you we were going to talk it then. So I can't say what character I'm playing, but that comes out December 5th, and I'm super stoked about messages about it daily because they see it on IMDb. They want to know all these questions, and I think it's just another iconic character to add to these awesome ones.
yeah.
So it's usually a younger crowd that likes it, but I think it's really cool. I love the old Chuck E. Cheese 80s animatronic look to it. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. I think it's a fun one, and working on it was really cool.
That's awesome, man. I'm gonna watch that. I love
Yeah.
Blumhouse movies. A really good one was
Yeah.
like Ma for some reason. That was such a good movie too. But the Five Nights at Freddy's was a very different experience in the horror realm. So I mean, it'd be very crazy to see how that evolves and stuff, and see what you become in the movie and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and this one is going to be better, I think, than the first one. So I'm looking forward to it.
It sounds like it, because I mean, at first maybe they were testing it out. Hey, let's put this movie out, and then now they know that it's a big hit, so now it's like going to be times 10 in the next one, I would assume.
Yeah, they're gonna it's gonna be ramped up for sure. It's gonna be cool. I saw some really cool stuff on set, so I can't wait. Honestly, it's awesome.
Hell yeah, dude.
Christmas movie in December.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So before we go, I did have one fan question, if that's all right, and then we can
Uh-huh.
say our goodbyes
Yep.
here. Um,
Yep.
so fan Mikey, who's a good friend of mine, says
Uh-huh.
I'd love to know any favorite stories Douglas has from shooting Teen Wolf.
Oh, okay. Um, Let me think. That was really cool because it was literally 5 minutes from my house. They shot in Northridge and in the San Fernando Valley, so that was great to do that. Let me think of a cool story though. During that, I remember I auditioned while I was doing Teen Wolf for this. This is just stuff coming off the top. I'm sure there's a lot of stories, but I was auditioning for the Sasquatch, as I've shown.
Yes, sir.
So I remember going to the audition or practicing beforehand the character on the set of Teen Wolf while I was in my Dread Doctor outfit. So in between takes, I was doing Sasquatch in my Dread Doctor hands and mask just because I was like, okay, I got to go in tomorrow morning, man. I want to get the movements down. It was so opposite of that character, Sasquatch, but I remember doing that during Teen Wolf, and I got it. Like I got the obviously got the role. So thank you, Teen Wolf. Um, but it was cool. Working on that was cool. You know, like I grew up watching the movie Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox, so it's nothing like that though.
Right.
The creator wrote Criminal Minds and created this whole thing with different villains on each each episode, and that show had the most fratter days of any show I've ever worked on. What a fratter day is when you start on a Friday and it goes into Saturday. I mean, this show you'd start at like Friday at 6 and then you'd get off at like Saturday at 11 a.m. You
Oh,
know, it was brutal.
it's like
It's
a
because
firefighter.
yeah, what happens in the business, like you start on Monday, and on Monday, early call time, 6 a.m., whatever. The next day, you get off later, so your call time has to be a 12-hour turnaround. So then it's, 10 a.m. Then the next day, it's, Wednesday, it's 2. And then, come Friday, it's like 6 p.m. is your call time. So
Oh,
they call it breakfast when you get to set. Okay, breakfast is served. It's like 6 p.m. and you're eating,
yeah.
breakfast.
I've heard about that.
Um, so yeah, that was like the show of fratter days.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that wets his whistle.
Yeah.
No, I can't thank you enough for doing this. I wanted to make sure we got a proper goodbye in because you've been the man during all of this, and I know we've been trying to. You're a busy guy, so I was like stalking you for weeks, and can't be thankful enough that you're in our Halloween family, and I couldn't be a nicer guy, So
Thank you,
just
bro.
wanted to thank you again. I'm honored.
Well, thank you guys, and please follow me, actor Douglas Tait, Instagram, actor Douglas Tait on TikTok, Facebook, Douglas Tait fan page, and I'll be doing conventions all over. So if I'm in your state, you know, I'll be posting about it. Come by, say hello. I got some cool merch, and we'll chat, man.
All right. Well, hopefully I'll be able to see you in Massachusetts one day. We're on the other side of the
Yeah,
world, so I know a lot of.
I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll
All
be
right.
there. Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
man. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and that's gonna do it for us on Rampage of 78, the channel.
Welcome, boys and ghouls.